All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about something pretty wild today, how artificial intelligence is, well, it's moving out of the office, and you could say right into the bedroom. We are diving deep into the super fast-growing world of erotic AI. This is a whole new frontier for digital intimacy.
So here's the plan for today. First, we'll talk about how AI is getting so personal. Then, we'll peel back the curtain and see the tech that makes it all tick. After that, we're going to take a tour of the apps that are out there, zoom in on a couple of them, and then get to the big question, why should you even care about any of this? And we'll wrap things up by looking ahead at what might be the next kind of connection. Okay, so first things first, AI is getting intimate. For the longest time, when you heard AI, you probably thought of, I don't know, spreadsheets or data analysis, right? The boring stuff. But that's changing. It's quietly creeping into our most private spaces, and it's totally shaking up our relationship with technology itself.
And this whole shift, it forces us to ask a really, really big question. How is artificial intelligence actually changing what intimacy even means?
And look, don't think this is some sci-fi thing that's decades away. It's happening now. There's this one prediction from our source material that just, wow. It says that by 2025, that's right around the corner, AI sexting apps are going to revolutionize how individuals feel and communicate. Think about that. Not just a little tweak, a revolution. It's a complete rewiring of human connection, and we're living through it.
So you gotta wonder, right? How is a revolution like that even possible? Well, it all boils down to the tech that's behind the talk.
Okay, so what are we really talking about here? At their core, these apps are powered by some seriously complex AI. It's been trained on just massive amounts of human writing. But here's the kicker. Its job isn't to be a search engine. Its whole purpose is to mimic how we talk to each other. The flirting, the inside jokes, the real feeling of connection, and pack it all into a chatbot.
And this tech hasn't just stayed in the lab. It's exploded into a surprisingly big and diverse market. So let's get a bird's eye view of the erotic AI landscape.
Just a quick glance at this table tells you a lot. You've got apps like Candy AI, which are all about role play, but then you have something totally different like Cupid AI, which is designed for deeper, more emotional chats. And then there's this whole other group like Pornjoy and Soulgen that actually combines the chatbot with an AI that can create images. So yeah, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
It's pretty clear the market is splitting off to cater to really specific tastes. And one of the biggest lanes for sure is all about immersive role play. We're talking about apps that give users totally uncensored, no-holds-barred conversations.
But then, in a completely different corner of this world, you've got apps that aren't so much about fantasy, but more about feeling. Their whole focus is on emotional connection, on empathic chat. They even use things like voice notes to create a sense of intimacy that you just can't get from text alone.
And this is where things get really interesting. We're seeing a huge mashup of different AI technologies. There's a third, really popular category that isn't just about the chat. It literally merges the conversation bot with an AI artist, letting you create explicit images just by describing what you want to see.
Okay, so that's the big picture. But what does it actually feel like to use one of these things? Let's zoom in and take a closer look at a couple of examples. Let's start with Candy AI. This one is a perfect example of that first category we talked about. Its whole world is built around uncensored chat and that girlfriend/boyfriend roleplay experience. You can even create custom AI personalities and, get it to generate explicit images on the fly.
Now let's put that right next to an app like Cupid AI. It's a total contrast. While Candy AI is all about uncensored chat and images, Cupid AI sells itself on having empathic conversations and offering emotional support. This comparison really shines a light on the two main roads this whole space is going down. One is driven by pure fantasy, and the other is all about searching for an emotional connection. So, we've got this market that's just blowing up, right? But beyond all the tech and the features, why does any of this really matter? Let's talk about the human side of all this.
So, according to the source material we're looking at, one of the main arguments for these apps is privacy. The idea is that they give people a safe space to explore who they are and what they want without any of the fear of being judged or rejected like you might face in the real world.
But, and this is a really, really important point that this source makes, there's a very clear line drawn in the sand. I'm going to quote this directly. These apps are not to be considered substitutes for real-life human relationships. They're framed as a tool, something for exploration, not as a flat-out replacement for actual human connection. And that distinction, right, the one between a tool and a substitute, that leads us perfectly into our final question. What happens next?
Because let's be real, as these AI companions get smarter, more responsive, more human-like, they're going to force us to face a pretty tough question. What's actually going to define a real relationship in the future? There are no easy answers here, but it's a question this technology is making it absolutely impossible for us to ignore.